From San Diego, California, this is a One Extraordinary Marriage show. Where being busy is overdone, romancing is fun, and scheduling sex is taking the guesswork out of wondering when you're going to get some. I'm Tony DeLorenzo, your co-host, along with my beautiful wife, Elisa. From coast to coast and around the world, thank you for joining us. It's time to talk sex, love, and commitment. Give us a call on the Hug Hotline at 858-876-5663 or send us an email to hugs@oneextraordinarymarriage.com. In today's show, we wish you and your spouse a very Merry Christmas. We're truly honored and blessed to have you part of the One family.
And there's an anonymous quote that says, "The magic of Christmas never ends, and its greatest of gifts are family and friends."
And we do. We wish you, each and every one of you, a very Merry Christmas, and just hopefully you're having an amazing time with your family and friends.
Absolutely. And we start each and every One Extraordinary Marriage show with a hug. And this week's hug is sponsored by the upcoming One Conference. That's right. You heard it. You heard it here. The One Conference in Henderson, North Carolina on March 2nd, 2019. And we're going to share a little bit more about this later on in the show. So keep your ears tuned. There's lots of great things in the show. And this hug comes from an email message that we received. And the person says, "I wanted to write a note to tell you that your podcast is changing my marriage. In August of this year, my marriage was broken and we both wanted to move on. Neither of us had the courage to leave, but we didn't want to stay where we were either. However, we were both feeling stuck and just hurting from all the pain we were causing each other, and we didn't know how to change things. For the past several years, we've both been working on improving ourselves, but some of the intimacies that you talk about were just missing. We were really just roommates living separate lives in a lot of ways. Over the past several months, I've started seeing a counselor, and so has he. We also have made intimacy a priority and a lifestyle."
Right on.
And just as a side note, I love that she qualified that not only is it a priority, but it's also a lifestyle.
That's right.
Right? It's both, not either or. She goes on to say, "Words can't express how grateful I am to have tools and a great Christian resource for learning more about marriage and intimacy and what that should really look like. We come from families that were severely dysfunctional, so even though we knew what we wanted, we didn't know how to do it. One of the best parts about all of this is that I'm a lot more open about sex these days. We were going through our schedules yesterday morning, and I flat out told him that the only question I had," and guys, listen to this, guys and gals, because this is a great question when you're doing your coffee breaks and you're having your weekly meetings on what's going on. She says, "My only question was, when are we going to have sex again?" I told him that I really didn't care about the other stuff, and guess what? We made it happen while our son was out of the house for a bit. Honestly, that wouldn't have happened a few months ago. Things are still far from perfect, but there's such a difference now in our lives, and that's a huge blessing. We are so much happier, and we like each other again."
That's always a plus.
It is a plus. Thank you for sharing your lives so openly and honestly with us. Because of the show, I feel like we are having a second honeymoon these days.
Oh, love it.
Merry Christmas. Happy New
Exactly.
Year. There's a couple that's going into, the new year with a much different outlook on life. And as we start this show, I don't know in all the years that we've been doing the One Extraordinary Marriage show that we've actually had a show. I mean, I'm guessing that it had to have
been.
But I don't know if it was like a leap year thing, because I can't remember a release date being on Christmas Day.
Honestly, we'd have to go back and look.
We'd have to go back and look. And to be real honest, guys, I didn't go back and look before. Usually I do all kinds of research. I did not research if we've had another show come out on Christmas. You all would probably know better than us. But as we were saying, okay, you know what, this is going to come out on Christmas Day. What kind of show do we want to have that comes out? What captures Christmas? Mm-hmm. And what that really came down to was that, you all are like our Christmas gift that we get to open every day.
Yep.
Right? It's about you being a gift to us. And so many of those hugs we've read over the years talk about how, Tony and I behind these mics have been a gift to you and to your marriage. And in all honesty, guys, when you write in and tell us that, it's like a present.
It is.
The hugs are our present. And so this show's going to have a little different feel to it because what we did something we've never done before. Tony posted last week on Instagram and said, "Hey, if you want to do a shout out to your love, just let us know city and name and city, and we're going to incorporate that into the show." So guess what? You're actually going to be hearing just how far-reaching the One family is, because when we started this show, and some of you know this, but it bears repeating in a in a significant show like this is that when we started the One Extraordinary Marriage show, we did it with the hope of impacting one couple.
That's right.
Right? That's actually part of the meaning behind the name. We got behind the mics and we started writing books, and we said, if there is one couple out there
that we can impact, that we can touch, that their life is transformed, then we're doing what we've been called to do. And we've just been fortunate over the years, though, now to reach one couple at a time, to reach tens of thousands. And so with this show, though, it's all about loving on you guys and wishing each and every one of you a Merry Christmas. And so as we've shared in the past, as you all know, when you write in a hug, it's anonymous. We're not going to say your name. We're not going to say where you're from. We even take out some details at times because we don't want to point you out. Mm-hmm. And yet for this show, we said, you know what? If you want us to give your spouse a shout out, give us their name, give us where they're from. And that's what we're going to do today. And so this show isn't about, your next action step or being intentional, although we hope you are. We hope that, this Christmas that you are, like you're stealing away with your spouse, or you're doing something that you've heard over the last few months or the last 3 years and making this holiday special for you guys. This one, though, is truly for those of you who answered that question on Instagram stories. So we're going to just go through those. And that's about it.
So, spoiler, I do have an action item at the end of the show.
Oh, see, I didn't even read all the show notes.
I couldn't get away with it.
It was going to be a chill show today.
Well, it is a chill show, but I still, in doing this and just pulling all of these names and then seeing how far-reaching the one family is, there was a little one. So stick around to the end, but keep listening because you may actually hear your name or your spouse's name called out, because the very first one that came in was beautiful Bridget from Roy, Utah. And then there was John in Farmington, and John's wife said, you make every day like it's the first day. And Kyle and Sean in Villa Hills, and Andrew in Memphis, and Salomon in Port St. Lucie. And it was crazy because, when we put this question up, we never know. I mean, it's Instagram, right? You never know when you put something up there, like how are people going to respond? Mm-hmm. And we've never asked you guys to tell us, to give us your names. Mm-hmm. And so all of a sudden these names started coming in, and honestly, it was an emotional experience to have you tell us who you are.
Yeah.
Because you know us. And so now it's an opportunity to know you.
So there's Shelly in Downers Grove, Sarah in Big Bend, Wisconsin, Paul in Sydney, Australia, from down under, Anna in Alexandria.
And as we were cultivating these names, it started becoming really obvious that there were a couple of significant things that happened in 2018 that many of you who listened, who submitted your names, things like that you guys were a part of. And the first one was the growth of the Position of the Month Club.
Yeah. It's amazing how much you guys have come on and partnered with us and come beside us and said, you know what, we're here because we want to champion the cause of marriage as well. And I will say this, a big, very Merry Christmas to every one of our Position of the Month Club partners. We are truly blessed by you guys, and to see you guys and hear from you guys is truly amazing. And what's coming up in January 2019 is we're blowing it up because of what you've shared with us. If you're interested, get in the club. We'd love to have you partner with us, and you can learn more about that at positionofthemonthclub.com.
And so a few more of the names that came in. There was Austin in Fort Hood and Candace in Riverside, California.
The Inland Empire.
I knew.
Right
I
on.
knew.
Boom.
You know what?
That's right. I grew up right outside of Riverside. My brother actually graduated with his PhD and bachelor's degree at UCR. I grew up 30 minutes from Riverside. I remember going through there all the time.
I love that you said his PhD and bachelor's.
Oh, his bachelor's and his PhD.
Yeah, I was going to say, most people, once they get to the PhD, they're not even, anyway.
But he got both of them there. Computer science guy. He's awesome.
Let's see. Parker in Twin Falls, Idaho.
Have we been to Twin Falls? Is that out there by Coeur d'Alene? I don't know if we
didn't
ever
look it up. I don't feel like we did.
If it's in the panhandle of Idaho, we did a lot in there. But anyways. We love that, Idaho.
We do love Idaho. And then there were a whole bunch of you that were doing shout outs to your loves from Dallas. And there was Rob, Michael, and Bran. And it just made me realize that we need to get back to the Dallas area where we've got so many people doing shout outs for there. And, so we talk about the Position of the Month Club, which saw tremendous growth and just so many marriages transformed with people coming alongside us there. And then the other really significant thing that happened in 2018 was the One Conference.
Yeah, which was absolutely amazing. We held that first one here in San Diego in September, and that was crazy. I mean, for us, truly in our place. I mean, we love being there and seeing you guys. There's an excitement that happens every week. I'll say for me, for getting behind the microphone and sharing what's going on and hopefully giving you guys the tools you need and the action you can take to make your marriage better. Mm-hmm. Something completely different when we get to see you face to face and actually hold you and hug you and say, we love you guys. It was truly amazing. And I think one of the crazy things that I heard from a number of folks that day were like, they came in listening and we were getting going and just being who we are, who Tony and Elisa are. And so many came up to us afterwards, or to me anyways, and said, I was really concerned when we were coming here. And I was like, why? What was up? And they said, this is not verbatim, but pretty much word for word from most of them was like, we didn't know if what you guys were doing behind the microphones was just a stick. And is that really Tony and Elisa? And when we sat down and you guys were up there, it wasn't. It was truly what we expected. And so I hope to meet many more of you. We both hope to meet many more of you. We're not stopping there. We have 2 on the slate for 2019.
Well, and let's talk about that, because this is really the first time that we're announcing that we're going to get to be face-to-face with you guys again, that we're going to get to love on you and pour on you and spend time with you during that day. Because when we're here behind these mics, we know you're listening. We get the hugs, we get the emails, we get the feedback, we get the, iTunes reviews, all of those wonderful things. But there's a different dynamic when we actually get to see you guys face to face and we get to pour into you and hear your stories and take those pictures and have those moments where it's more than just that 30-second snippet. So we want to see all our East Coast family.
Even South.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be in Henderson, North Carolina.
So come and join us on Saturday, March 2nd, 2019. Put it on your calendars now. Make plans to be there. All of you that said San Diego's too far, we've come up with a solution for you.
Yep.
Right? Join us in Henderson, and it's going to be what you've come to expect here behind the mics. It's going to be that One Extraordinary Marriage approach where we cut straight to the hurdles that you're facing.
We cut straight to the heart.
Well, we get to those hurdles and we get to the heart of them.
Yes.
Thank goodness he's here, you guys. Honestly, if I had to do the whole show by myself, you all would be sad. You'd be sad. I'm just saying, he makes me better every single day. But it's going to be an opportunity for you and your spouse to just reconnect with one another. But also, just like we love seeing each one of you, when you start to see how big the one family is and that you're not alone in doing this thing called marriage, it's going to be like a life shifting.
Yeah, it was really cool to see a lot of folks in the Position of the Month Club and other folks who've seen each other in some way or form connect and now have become friends. And you can see that blossoming and how they're encouraging each other and their marriages. I mean, get your tickets.
It's going to sell out.
The event's going to sell out. We are going to have a packed crowd. We have so much to share with you. But check it out at oneliveevents.com for all the information for registration. We have from general seating to reserve to premium seating. We have lunch options. We have a VIP dinner. We have everything, and it's our chance to meet up with you guys. So we're excited. Go to go to oneliveevents.com.
So many websites. So a few more folks that we need to give those shout outs to. There's Tris from Grand Junction,
Colorado.
And we have a special place in our heart for Colorado.
That's right.
Tim in Perth, Australia. Tiffany in Miami. Jack in LA. Matt in Calgary, Alberta. And I love that so many of you that shared your spouses with us, you're literally around the world. It's so easy for us here in the States to just think, okay, you know what? This is an American type thing. But what we've known from the very beginning of the One Family, some of our earliest emails came from Africa. I remember we were getting a whole bunch of emails when we first started from Africa and from Australia. And I love being able to share these names because it makes you realize that you literally, as a listener, are part of the one family around the world. So amazing. There's Eliberto from Union City, Nathan in Pine Grove, Trevor in Santa Keen, Utah, Brad in Brisbane, Anthony in Whitefish, and
Montana. Montana. Hey, we've had some great...
Montana.
I don't want to say great, but we've had some adventurous and memorable anniversaries in Montana.
Montana holds a special place in my heart. Absolutely. There's
Chad in Lindale. I was going to say Ryan in Prince George, British Columbia. He and his beautiful wife were down for the one conference in September and just love you guys, man. Just so excited for what's ahead in your lives. David from Chapin, South Carolina. Hey, that's not far away from North Carolina.
Exactly. That's what I was just thinking.
Jeremiah in Maricopa. Andy in Crystal, Minnesota.
Oh my gosh. It's so neat too that so many of you took us up on this offer to give a shout out, because I can just imagine, I would love to be a fly on the wall when you two are listening to the show and your spouse hears their name. Right? I just think that's what a crazy gift.
It's cool.
There's Ashton in Malad, Idaho. I may be pronouncing that wrong. But Ashton, you are loved. Nick in West Richland, Washington, Robert in Sahuarita, Arizona, Joseph in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Julio from Manila in the Philippines.
Right on.
So good. Sam in San Antonio, Abraham from Long Beach, California, Philip in Anderson, and 2 coming out of Atlanta, Zach and Emily. And you know what else is neat? Because one of the other things that you never know when you put out a question like this is it just going to be all the wives or all the husbands that are doing this?
Both.
It was such a great mix of both, because it was, again, what's one of those really unique experiences? This is the kind of unique experience that so many of you are going to get to share with your spouses.
Yeah. Margaret in Greensboro, Philip out of Melbourne, Joanna in Tulare, California, Jesse in Medora, North Dakota, Kurt in Santa Rosa.
All of these. We have a bunch of folks in California. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And there's Jeff in Santa Clarita, Timothy in Lakeland, Judy from Jacksonville. I like that. Judy from Jacksonville. There's that whole JJ thing. Justin in Las Vegas, Michael in Gresham, Oregon, Heather in Puyallup, Washington.
Was that out by us? Puyallup? No, that's more like Central Washington.
I feel like you should have had the map, the United States map open today.
But I remember driving. I think I drove through there when I would go from Spokane over to Seattle to climb Mount Rainier. Yeah.
Nikki in Shannon Hills, and those were all the ones that were received. And again, it's hard to put into words what a gift each one of you that listens to this show is to Tony and I. We've kind of been gushing and, talking about gifts, but as you're in this place, celebrating Christmas with your love, I told you that I couldn't let you get away without an action item. It's just my nature.
Let's do it.
The coaching clients know it.
I'm all for
Tony
it. It's all
knows
good.
it. My kids know it. But today, whether your name was on this list or not, whisper in your loved one's ear and just thank them for making your life and your marriage extraordinary. Remind them that they are truly the best gift. Right? That sometimes it's just those words of appreciation that are so much more meaningful than, a present under the tree or what's in the stocking or what might be in the driveway or hanging up in the closet or all of those types of things. The words, "You are my best gift," which is how we really feel about each and every one of you, that's going to close out this 2018 and it's going to launch you into 2019 with that perspective that your spouse is your best gift.
Yeah. So as we started the show, Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. We're truly blessed and truly honored to have you part of the One Family. Thank you to each of you who sent in your spouse's name and where you're from. That just means a lot to us, and it made this show so much fun to read to you. We hope that you both enjoy it, and until next time, which is going to be next week, we're going to be back here, and we're going to just kick it off. Get ready for 2019. We have been planning. We are ready to just rock this thing for you guys. We love you guys, and we'll catch you next week. Again, Merry Christmas. Love you guys.